apparently a traitor and is watching The View as when he should be watching my show. I'm kidding. But yeah, I was going to get into that whole situation because Wendy Williams is our next story. So, yeah. So speaking of which, let's get into her. Let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? So by the time y'all watch this situation, this clip and everything is up, Wendy Williams is already on The View, running her mouth because we are simultaneously playing as The View is on. Yeah, it's a morning show because, as I said before, I got a lot of things to do. But there's been a lot of tea that's been coming out about Wendy. I do have a story on some of the people that were actually at the show because for those of you probably not aware, the episode that you're watching, or maybe, I don't know if the full show is recorded, but the Wendy segment was pre-recorded for Friday's episode of The View because there was some people that were actually there that spilled tea to the press. But before we get to that topic, I just want to give you all the latest on what's been going on with her. So the last time we talked about Wendy on this show, apparently she had did another interview with the Breakfast Club, and she was giving insight into a lot of things that was going on, especially when it came down to her when she hatched the plan with the paper and saying that helped Wendy and all this other stuff, and then got to be rushed to the hospital. They call like a little situation where the cops came in, took her out, took her down to the hospital, get mentally reevaluated. She said that Sabrina did not even address her or acknowledge her when she was at the place, that they tried to give her attorney the runaround, and then was trying to play with Wendy, trying to act like she didn't know where the hell she was or which hospital she was at. So there was a whole little game that they was playing. It was recently on an episode of The Breakfast Club. And funny enough, Wendy, you shady. I don't know if it was intentional, but she acknowledged Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Lauren. She ain't see it for Jess He-Man Hilarious, and we don't see it for that man-looking bitch either, because I don't like Jess Hilarious, especially because she always got something to say about the gays and the trans, when she sound like a whole goddamn man with 8 pounds of testosterone flowing through her coochie when she be on that damn show. But apparently, she's mad. She might be trying to silently slither her way out of that position, allegedly, according to the rumors. A lot of people I've been hearing talking about that. Like, it just seems like Jess has checked out. Well, go home, be a baby to your baby daddy's child, because apparently, I don't know if she's still with the man that knocked her ass up or if he planned on marrying her. But yeah, she's in the same boat as Halle Bailey when it come down to you just a baby mama and not nobody wife, and whatever the case is. So Wendy was on there. I think she also did a couple of other interviews. And then they made the announcement that she was going to be on The View today, which is Friday. So after all of that went down, the judge that got her caught up in this conservatorship in the first place is apparently threatening the former media personality with even more restrictions after the star came forward to expose her facility's conditions. So now Judge Lisa Sokoloff wants Williams moved to another facility. Where? What, you trying to move her to Guantanamo Bay? Like, what could be any worse than where you got her down? So she said, I've always contended that Wendy will be given the independence she can handle. This is what she wrote in the email obtained by TMZ. I question how well she has handled the independence she has been given. Well, have you been actually paying attention to being aware of what's going on in the facility that she's in? Or are you in the same place like Sabrina? Y'all want to sit and y'all are putting people in place to do all the things, but you're not really checking in on these people to make sure that what's doing needs to be done. And I understand you a judge and you just rack down, you listen to what goes on and you hand down a sentence or whatever you want to do, and that's about that. You move on to the next case. But how do you know how much independence that she can handle in the whole situation? Once she's free, y'all can put things in place to help her what needs to be done. Like somebody could actually look over her finances and make sure she's not being taken advantage of, that she's in this, because she's an addict for the rest of her life. Whether she want to sit up and talk about cold turkey and all this other stuff, she's always going to be an addict. Once an addict, always an addict. Meaning that you have to constantly be on top of that. She can go to her AA meetings, because I believe that the drug of choice is alcohol. I don't know if she was still on the booger sugar. Back in the day when she was in her early stages of her career, she was snorting on, all that white powder. She'll tell you about it. And now she said that she went cold turkey. But then you traded one addiction for another, which was the alcohol. And we don't know how long she's been in the throes of that until we saw it get out of hand in the Where's Wendy Williams documentary. But you can put things in place where you can get her a sober coach, making sure that, she is being taken care of and going through the throes of keep her on the right track for the rest of her life. But she should not be wrapped up in this situation. Why is she in a memory unit? When her brain seemed fine, I ain't saying it's 110%, but her brain ain't in the same situation as these other people that she's being compared to. And I think the difference is they did not expect someone like Wendy to be able to have the power and the movement and the influence, because she ain't like all these other people you got in this facility. You locked up somebody who is in media, who has a rapport with some of the most powerful people in media. The Breakfast Club, John Lemon, even though he's down on YouTube, but I'm not throwing shade at YouTube because, first of all, I'm in the YouTube space too, and YouTube is overthrowing everybody else in the media podcasting space, not network and media and legacy media. All that is going down the toilet. YouTube is the future. I've been telling y'all that. Then she got Jason Lee. Now she got, and I don't, TMZ, I don't know if I mentioned them already. Because, when I just be saying stuff, it just comes out and then it's out of sight, out of mind. So she's got all these media friends that are going to be able to help her with her narrative. And now, for the first time, she's on a national network show telling her story, which is The View. And that's a huge audience over there. Y'all may not like a lot of the stuff that they say over there. And don't even get me started on the propaganda they be spilling. What is it? The moderate Democratic propaganda and the idiots they be having on there, like Elisa Slotkin, Gavin Newsom, these jokes for the Democratic Party, the lurch looking one, Fetterman, and these other idiots, when they have them on there, politics aside, it's a good platform for Wendy to get her story out, because a lot of people who aren't aware, like we are, because we're in this space, a lot of the people that watch The View ain't on YouTube. So getting the real information, or TMZ and all these other places. So Wendy began to tear up when she heard the news and said she'd keep it PG despite wanting to say a few choice words about the situation. Saying, given me more restrictive environment, what could be more restrictive than the coterie? She's asked, given during an appearance on TMZ Live on Wednesday, referencing the Manhattan residential facility that she previously called a prison. What is going on with the judge speaking to me in that way? TMZ reporters told Williams that she was being treated like a petulant child, which she agreed with, and asked if she was concerned about being moved. She got emotional. She said, "Don't make me start crying. It makes me very nervous. I'm scared of that." She also added that she didn't know what could possibly be more restrictive than her current living environment, saying, "I have to get out of guardianship and have to do it immediately." She also sounded overwhelmed, and he suggested that she could roam freely. She said, they're lying, that's a lie, that's a lie. Added that her guardian has to specifically permit even her closest family members to see her. And we heard this because they're talking, oh yeah, she can handle that. I'm like, really? Because last time I checked, so you call everybody a liar. You call even Lauren over there at the Breakfast Club a liar, because she told us what she had to go through to even come see Wendy when they did the first interview. Y'all ain't been paying attention like we've been paying attention. So y'all think y'all can just throw some shit up out here and we all supposed to just believe it, and y'all supposed to just get away with y'all whatever y'all getting away with. We're not going to listen to y'all because y'all a bunch of damn liars. The legal system, we already know, is rigged for certain people. Y'all let people like Donald Trump and all them other criminals get away with shit, but us regular folk, the legal system ain't for us. So y'all sitting over here lying. Somebody she had, and then this the other thing. So then they got mad. I think I have that clip, that video. Oh yeah, I got the thing about Alex, where they was the assisted living facility went after her and her situation. So yeah, it's like she's on this 5th floor facility. They said that you need a key to even get on the elevator and get about it, because they said if you're in a memory unit, obviously you're dealing with people who have dementia, and we've seen people who have dementia and can't remember where they are and all this other stuff, and what happens to them. You can't have them roaming free, because what if they get out in the street? So you have somebody who's literally not on the same level as these people that you got her locked up with, where she has to get permission to leave. When Lauren said that she went to the front desk, y'all was trying to act like y'all didn't know who Wendy Williams was and if she was in the building. When she had a full-on conversation with the girl and they were supposed to do an interview, or she was actually coming to visit her. So they also said this, the judge, let's talk about her ass. So now she's been under investigation for receiving nearly $6,000 in campaign donations from 2019 to 2022 from 20 guardianship lawyers, law firms, or people who deal with guardianship cases, and awarded those same individuals 62 appointments in 2022. So this sounds similar to an episode of Law and Order that I remember seeing. Remember how, what was it, Swoozie Kurtz? Y'all remember that episode? Or maybe y'all don't, but let me remind you. So apparently she was sending these kids to this facility where they was, I think one of them ended up dead or something or another, and she was getting kickbacks from sending them up there, even for crimes that were just some low collar crime or whatever the case was. She was getting, how many people she was sending up there, she would get a percentage of the money. So this is all a game to a lot of these people that work in legal, how y'all be giving people the most extreme of circumstances and getting kickbacks. It's the same thing how y'all trying to make prison, when you throw people in prison, y'all get a percentage and stuff. This is a money game to a lot of these people. So you got a lot of crooks and criminals who work in law, and she sound like one of them. Now, how you get making $6,000 in campaign donations? And it's like a quid pro quo, a percentage that you take in when you got law firms and people who deal with guardianship cases. You sending them into situations and you making money from them, but you ain't realized when y'all did this to Wendy Williams the type of pull that she has. Because I know, I saw a friend of the show, Robert, trying to compare her situation to Britney Spears. Britney Spears eventually ended up getting out of her situation and saying that how media people are more lenient towards Wendy than they are to Britney because Britney was a pop star and Britney, we have her moments or whatever. Maybe some truth to that. But in regards to this, it's she is amongst the peers, people that work in the media space, that is their peer. So she is going to probably there's probably going to be a little more bias there. But I do agree that these people fucked around and are starting to find out. So y'all didn't think that this was going to happen. And what I feel like what you need to do, Harvey, over there at TMZ, is investigate these people that are trying to keep Wendy in this conservatorship. Investigate Miss Mama Judge and the what's her name? And Sabrina and all of them. Now, speaking of Sabrina, let's get into her ass now. Because now her attorney is not liking the narrative that is being presented about her client. So now she's trying to windmill hard for her. So TMZ also said that they received a letter from a lawyer repping Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, and the attorney claims that some of the media coverage of the guardianship and her client is untrue, inaccurate, incomplete, and misleading. The attorney notes that Morrissey did not create the guardianship, the judge did. That may be so, but if the judge created it, shouldn't you as a guardian be making sure all the I's is dotted and all the T's is crossed and you helping your client the right way and not taking advantage of this lady? Which is what it seemed like a lot of you people in these situations do. If you have a job to do the job. Don't be going above and beyond because you're trying to get a little cut or whatever the case is, as a lot of you crooks tend to do when y'all be in job. Y'all forget to do the job that you put in place. Well, maybe you overworked and underpaid and overwhelmed because you have too many people you have to look forward to. But that's social work, isn't it? Unfortunately, that's the stress of the game. This is a job you decided to take on. So he goes on to say a judge declared Wendy legally incapacitated and after she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia the year before. The lawyer says Wendy has not been kept from her family, saying she can call them and see them whenever she wants. They said that she also has not been allowed visitors, with just a few exceptions since entering the assisted living facility in New York. So now all her family is lying then? You said that she can call and see them. But then we saw that she can get permission. She had to get permission. Then y'all said she can come and go as she pleases, which we all know that's a lie. But if she can come and go as she pleases, then why would y'all just saying all the stuff that y'all was recently saying in the media recently? Which one is it? Y'all act like that. Y'all can just keep saying stuff. Y'all all trying to follow that Trump thing. Let's throw 150 million things at you at once, overwhelm you, and we could only focus on, I'm going to throw out 100 things, but you can only focus on the 2 things I said. While the other 100 things I've said, you ain't really catch. But you know me, I can multitask. I catch it all. So y'all up here trying to say all this stuff, it's a bunch of BS. So the lawyer said that Wendy has not been kept from her family. She also notes that Wendy traveled twice to Florida to visit family, but she had to get permission. So that wasn't a come and go as she pleased. She had to get permission to get on there, to be able to go to Florida. They also said that she claimed the judge actually turned down the last visit for her dad's birthday and reversed that decision after TMZ's documentary, Saving Wendy, dropped on Tubi. The lawyer said Wendy is receiving excellent medical care where there is a spa, a workout room, excellent food, a dining room, and outside terraces. But we ain't seen Wendy out on the outside terrace. We've been seeing her stuck in that window with her hand up, like a trapped prisoner. I feel like all that was missing was that Eyes of an Angel song from Sarah McLachlan playing in the background. So Wendy said she is often denied access to many of these perks because she could only leave the fifth floor memory unit with permission. So just because y'all have a spa, a workout room, excellent food, a dining room, and all these other things, don't necessarily mean that I have access to it. So yeah, the things are there, but am I able to go to use these things? Am I actually able to use the spa? Am I actually able to go and work out in the gym? She does say the only time she leaves her room is when she has to order food. The lawyer also said that Wendy's attorney tried to terminate the guardianship last year, but the judge denied it. Morrissey's lawyer says she is free to try again, and Wendy is doing, excuse me, is doing just that. Saying it's interesting. The letter acknowledges frontotemporal dementia is a degenerative condition and that causes a progressive decline in condition and behavior. There is no mention of the various conversations Wendy has had on camera and on the phone in which she sounds like her old self, something that belies a degenerative condition. The letter also says symptoms of FTD include memory loss. As we reported, an independent psychiatrist examined Wendy on Monday and gave her a cognitive test, which she aced. The lawyer says Morrissey has received one payment of less than $30,000 for services rendered. Since 2022, the Guardian has worked without pay. Only the court will determine how much and when Ms. Morrissey is paid for her services rendered. Finally, the lawyer warns false statements about Ms. Williams, her condition, and guardianship harm Ms. Williams and her interests and determine and undermine protection created by the court for her health and welfare. Now, Wendy, her niece, her independent caregiver, and others have a different view of the situation. And so we've heard all the things, and her niece, they was even trying to come after her because here's the latest story on that. Because I told you it's a lot. So shout out to the neighborhood talk for this story because now they were saying that after the Wendy aced her test and everything, Alex was like doing some cloak and dagger stuff. She took her aunt Wendy out to eat, and they was out here talking about how Alex basically kidnapped Wendy and took her to dinner. So yeah, this is all too much, by the way. They said Wendy's assisted living facility reportedly filed a police report alleging that her niece, Alex Finney, kidnapped her by taking her to dinner. According to TMZ, Finney recently accompanied Williams to the hospital where she has been undergoing psychological evaluation back to the Coterie, the residence she has been staying at the last 8 months. Whenever they say the Coterie, I don't know why I want to say charcuterie. I just don't know why that pops in my head. But anyway, so they said after spending time at the facility, Finney reportedly took her aunt to an Italian restaurant for dinner. Hopefully there was no alcohol involved because I'd have been like, yeah, take a breathalyzer. Because if that's what was going on, I'd be mad at you, Alex, for that. You got to keep her sober. But I don't think she was drinking. At least we don't know if she was. Now, staff at the Coterie allegedly contacted the NYPD, claiming Finney had broken the rules by taking Williams out without proper authorization. So I got to go through. I mean, I understand. It's like, yeah, but she a part of the facility. They have to keep track of their client because if anything happens to her, that's on them. But if y'all been treating Wendy the way that y'all been treating her, I might pull an Alex Finney and be like, oh no, fuck y'all. Because the way y'all been treating my aunt up in that facility, y'all can eat a bag of dicks for all I care. Like, I'm taking my aunt out. I don't give a good goddamn how y'all feel. File your stupid ass police report because I'm filing one on y'all, especially the way y'all been treating my aunt. So now they said that Williams cannot leave the fifth floor memory unit without assistance as an attendant must operate the elevator. But once she's out in the streets, then what? Y'all don't have nobody going with her on that either? So yeah, so there was that. But then there may be a silver lining in Wendy's situation because There was an actor. So good luck to you, Alex. I'm really rooting and hoping everything that works out. So there was an actor who played a young Emilio Estevez in The Mighty Ducks. His name is Brock Pierce. Now, he's offered Wendy a mansion stay and medical care. So he actually appeared on her talk show back in the day, and he's a Wendy fan. And he said, you know what? I want to actually step in and help Wendy out in her situation. So Brock Pierce, who played a young version of Emilio Estevez's character in the first two Mighty Ducks movies, publicly offered the former broadcaster an indefinite stay at one of his mansions in the wake of her conservatorship battle. He said, quote, I've always admired Wendy Williams' strength and resilience, and when I saw her in need, I felt compelled to offer my support. This is what he wrote on Instagram. Wendy has given so much to the world as both women and an entertainer. Years ago, I had the privilege of being a guest on her radio show, and now I want to extend a helping hand to an old friend in her time of need. Now, reps for Pierce and Williams did not immediately respond to Entertainment Weekly's request for comment. So now Pierce told Page Six that he wanted to extend Williams an invitation to one of his mansions where she could receive around-the-clock hospital care after she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia. He said, my offer is simple, a place where she could find peace, receive the care she deserves, and begin her journey to healing. He continued, Wendy is a national treasure, and it's time to show her the kindness and support that she has always given to so many. Now, Pierce owns mansions in Amsterdam, Puerto Rico, New York City, and Washington, D.C., as well as a Portuguese ocean liner. Child, you want to know something? If I was with these people, I would definitely jump on this. I'm like, wait a minute, he got mansions all over the place. And he's offering to help me out. And this is like no questions asked. It's like, whatever you need, hit me up. I got you. Like I'll have a round the clock doctor, or not even a doctor, like a nurse, whatever type of medication she needs to keep her up on the up and up. That's great. She don't even have to, like, she could stay in New York. But I think she's talking about she wants to move to Florida. But it's like she could stay in New York. You could stay in one of my mansions. I don't stay there. I got so many damn houses. I'll be at the Puerto Rico house. I'll be in the Amsterdam house. I'll be in my DC house, or I may decide to jump on the ocean liner once in a blue. So I would do it. I would definitely take this up if the opportunity is there. But I was like, we got to get her free first, and then we can worry about like where she could stay and all the other stuff. So now, after Williams' legal guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, said that the former media personality was cognitively impaired, permanently disabled, and legally incapacitated, Williams said that she is not cognitively impaired, but feels like she is in prison in a January interview. She reiterated those claims in an interview with ABC News' Byron Pitts, saying, how do you prove it by keeping me locked in here? And so you're saying, like, she's saying that I'm not in the same boat as a lot of these people. Let me go, bitch. So the View Sunny Hostin basically talked about Wendy's ongoing struggle and said, hope I can get to see my friend again. Well, look, she got to speak to her because I told y'all the episode already aired the interview already aired. I haven't gotten to see it yet because I told y'all I'm on at the same time as The View right now, so I can't sit and watch it. I'll probably check it out when I get home later. But for those of you who are not familiar with who Byron is, he made his big screen debut in The Mighty Ducks as a young Gordon Bombay. He reprised the role in D2 The Mighty Ducks before starring in films like The First Kid, Three Wishes, and Problem Child 3. Then he retired from acting in 1997. He pivoted to finance, founding several companies adjacent to the video game industry, and in the 2010s, he made hundreds of millions of dollars in cryptocurrency ventures. He later ran, and I didn't know this, he later ran for president of the United States as an independent during the 2020 election, gaining endorsements from Akon and Jesse Ventura, but ultimately winning just 3% of the popular vote. And that's because, to me, this young man seems like he's just on his, I would say young man, we probably around the same damn age. Because if he was, he was in 1992's The Mighty Ducks, I was like, we're probably around the same age, who knows? But anyway, but yeah, so, and I like Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura, I remember like he was out here going up against, speaking out against the Iraq war and all other stuff and saying everything against George W. Bush. And I think around that time, kind of like where we're going politically with a lot of things, he had a show that was supposed to be coming on one of the networks. I can't remember what it was. It was CNN, MSNBC, one of the networks. And they basically just like, because he was speaking out against what George W. Bush was doing, which sounds very similar to another politician that's currently over that's going against media whenever they speak out against things that the president should not be doing. They basically was like, yeah, we own your show, but we're not going to air it because you speak it out a little too much against George W. Bush. So he seems like a stand-up guy who definitely wants to help Wendy out and is willing to pay it forward. I haven't seen anybody else with this kind of offer. Everybody else is helping out with all the other things, but they're not offering to be like, you know what, you can stay at my place. So let's get into the View thing. So I told you I haven't watched it yet, but there were some people that was behind us that were there, and y'all can let me know if it was actually accurate with what they said. So Wendy did her interview with the View. I believe they said it was pre-recorded or pre-taped. So yeah, she called in yesterday actually, which was Thursday afternoon. So they did 2 episodes back to back. And I'm thinking it's probably because Whoopi Goldberg they probably wanted Whoopi to be there. So they're like, you know what? Let's do Friday's episode on Thursday. We're going to do 2, give y'all 3 days off. So that way Whoopi could actually be there. Cause that's my assumption. Like I told you, I haven't seen the episode yet because I'm doing this at the same time as the View was airing. So they just said with 2 audience members who were inside the room exclusively telling EW, that would be Entertainment Weekly, that the 60-year-old personality segment set to air Friday was heartbreaking to watch amid her ongoing conservatorship battle. Now, speaking of EW moments after Thursday's taping at ABC Studio B in Manhattan, excuse me, the View audience members, New York City drag state, Kiki Ball Change was there, bitch. And like Kiki Ballchange was there and friend Tamara Rotella, who showed EW screenshots of their tickets for the taping, confirmed that Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, Anna Navarro, and Alyssa. Okay, so Whoopi wasn't there. They said Alyssa Farrah Griffin conducted the phone interview for approximately 15 to 20 minutes across 2 segments. Kiki said it took a few moments for the crew to set Williams up with a phone connection and that they had to take a break because the line started cutting out in the middle of the chat. She said, I'd say for the most part, she sounded pretty normal. She doesn't sound anywhere near needing any sort of guardianship, Kiki said, adding that Hostin, who has known Williams for years, observed during the taping that her friend sounded normal on the phone. The Drag Minute Dinner contestant also recalls one notable story that Williams reportedly told the co-host in which she recalled getting permission to go out to eat with her niece, though someone told her that they'd call the cops because she wasn't allowed to be out and they thought her niece was going to be arrested, which was crazy. Kiki further recalls Williams saying that she wishes that those responsible for her conservatorship would get off my neck, excuse me, and that she never wants to work with the judge or the guardian again because she wants to be free from her conservatorship battle. Say it was really heartbreaking, which was something I wasn't expecting. Also recounting an instance between takes in which Williams and Behar try to make plans to see each other socially outside of the interview, though Williams reportedly told Behar that she couldn't accept phone calls from outsiders and that she would have to get the comedian's phone number so she could call her herself. Because Wendy did say, and they said, oh yeah, she can go out and she can call this one, that one. Wendy has said that she has a phone. She has no access to her cell phone. She has a phone that they've given her, like a landline. Like this is like Scream in 1996. She got a damn landline that she can only make outgoing calls. She can't make incoming calls, or people can't call her. She has to call them, which is crazy. So the math ain't mathing. So the legal people and the judge and all this other stuff are saying one thing, but Wendy is saying something completely different. And based off of this, both sides that we assess, I'm sorry, but, and I'm not just going to go cold with Wendy, flat out just believe everything Wendy Williams says because I'm a fan and she's a mentor in my head and all this other stuff. There's situations where I'm like, this is the part where I feel like Wendy Williams. Do I feel like she could come back and be the queen of media like she was once upon a time? No, I don't. I feel like she needs to be free though. I don't feel like she can get back on TV like the way she was when she was doing the Wendy Williams show. Because there's often been too many times in interviews where she'll be on track with what she got to say. And I feel like she stumbles over her words and can't hold on to a thought long enough to be able to complete a sentence. So I do feel like there is some damage done to her brain from the years of alcohol abuse, which may have caused a bit of her dementia. But I do feel like, which is why she always resorts to the person that she's on the phone with, being her niece, Alex, or her lawyer, or whatever the case. Oh, can you finish? Can you finish? Because Winnie never needed somebody to complete her sentences. Now I've been noticing, like, yeah, she gets a little overwhelmed a bit, and then she has to resort to somebody to help get her thoughts out. And then it's like, okay, she remembers it, and then she get back on track. The whole, you know what I'm saying, and all, and look, and you know what I mean. She's been saying that for years. Whenever you watch, whenever you listen to Wendy Williams radio show, whenever you listen to the Wendy Williams talk show or watched it, when you watch the Wendy Williams show, she was always saying, you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean. And like that's always how she. And that's a New York thing. We always say, you know what I'm saying. I know a lot of people who still say, nah, me. Like that's how we talk out here in New York. Who that rhyme? I'm a poet and I know it. So yeah. Now I do hope that this whole Free Wendy movement gets to be something that happens. I hope Wendy does get free, but I also hope that post this whole situation, once she is free, all the things are put in place that can help her out getting where she needs to go to keep her on the right track of keeping her of sound mind. Her health is on point, and that she doesn't resort back to the old habits that she once had. But I do feel like that we also, on the other side, we need to have a good hard look at conservatorships and guardianships. And who is really protecting these people? Not just Wendy, but anybody in a conservatorship that's being abused. That we need to look at the whole system, is what I'm saying. Because I feel like because Wendy is a celebrity, it's being exposed. And unfortunately, what happens is that it takes a celebrity dealing with something that regular people could be dealing with in order for people to take a hard look at what is happening with people and the system as a whole. So I know it was a lot. I told her it was going to be a lot. This is probably a 30-minute segment. But I had to get all of that out there so that way I can keep y'all abreast of all the latest, because it was like 5 different topics that was going on with Wendy happening within the last 3 days. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on the whole Wendy guardianship and her, even on what you thought of her interview with The View, let me know in the comments down below.